This last weekend, after a few plague-ridden years of absence, a horde of slathering and hungry fighting game fans descended upon the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, looking not unlike the cast of Mortal Kombat itself, to revel in all the sweatiness that a weekend of finally offline competition in the video game fandom can provide. The Evolution Championship Series is back as a live event, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say, thank fuck for that. For those unaware, this global tournament series, which began primarily as a Capcom event, over the years has slowly navigated itself into a position as the undisputably biggest fighting game esports tournaments that runs annually in the world, to the point it may almost be considered the world championships of many of the games that end up being selected every year on the big stage. Yes, although both Capcom and Namco run their own world tournaments, the Capcom Pro Tour and the Tekken World Tour respectively, EVO may still be considered the big one, to the extent that it has grown to the point that many game developers opt to use Evolution to reveal new features and occasionally entirely new games, often after the competition for each specific game has concluded for the weekend. So much so, it's practically got to the stage that many fans expect some sort of reveal at the event, and woe to the poor developers that do not front up with something, anything. And Namco Bandai's Tekken project team is no exception. Hello everyone, I am Necropants, and I've been a long-time gamer of multiple game genres, but fighting games, and in particular Tekken itself, hold a very special place in my heart as a relic of the now defunct arcade scene I had absolutely fallen in love with the first time I'd laid my eyes on a Tekken 1 cabinet at an amusement park as a child. So yes, even before it was originally released to console on the original PlayStation. And now you might guess why I go by the Necropants moniker. So today, in an endeavor to begin to have a larger presence on YouTube, I thought I would weigh in and give my thoughts on what Namco revealed on Sunday, which caused a rampant wave of speculation on the internet, including a Twitter mention from one Jeff Keighley himself, a figurehead and suspected Kojima sex robot of the very mainstream game awards, to which Tekken 7, although selling over 10 million copies at this point, could hardly really be considered a mainstream title. As funny as that may sound, given these kind of sales numbers, which is a first for the series, not even the very seminal Tekken 3 had sold more copies than the latest Tekken game. A few very prominent YouTube personalities had been outspoken in the last year or so that Tekken 7 is now a dead game and we were not to expect any future updates, that the fervent talk of a possible Tekken 8 announcement may be all we have to look forward to. I personally felt that this was incorrect, to the extent of pointing it out on the commentary stream I did on this channel as the top 8 drew to a close on Sunday. I also predicted Knees win, by the way, but that's probably a safe bet. I thought we may even be seeing a Tekken 8, but I knew more was coming, and how did I know this exactly? In May, Ipara, I hope I'm saying that right, held a live stream featuring Tekken 7 developers who went into some detail about an accessibility update they were working on for the game. Now this automatically confirmed to me something else was happening for Tekken 7, because why would you do this sort of work so many years after launch? On that note, by the way, I could not find the original footage of the stream other than the stuff shown here from YouTuber Moonslayer. So go sub to his channel, will you? Adding to this, we all know Street Fighter 6 is due early next year, and Namco have been very clear that they see fighting games as a niche audience with overlap between the franchises. And they don't want to stand on the toes of other fighting game developers and risk cannibalizing the audience competing with each other. So, long time and now recently former producer of the Tekken project team Katsuhiro Harada, responding to a fan's tweet, "Your turn," maybe gaming's biggest developer troll, simply replied, "No, it's Ed Boon's turn," of course of Mortal Kombat fame. hilarious. But I also think they know they needed to keep interest and momentum in the Tekken series going. So I was almost leaning towards an actual Season 5 announcement this weekend, culminating in a big announcement for some time next year after the hype train has cooled after the Street Fighter 6 release. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually happy that we didn't get a Season 5, despite knowing a new entry in the Tekken franchise is some time off. The Tekken roster is so bloated at this point, adding even more characters is probably a bad idea. I know that will annoy some people out there, but the game practically requires you to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the cast move lists, some of which number in the hundreds. Moves all with their own situational variables and move states and various other properties. There's a discussion to be had about updates other than raw characters that Tekken 7 needs and could solve this problem for not only this game and for the franchise moving forward, but I'll save that for another video. Then, at the end of the presentation, we see an image from Kazuya's canon ending of Tekken 1 dropping his now finally deceased father, Heihachi, off a cliff, something that's become a game of one-upmanship for the Mishima characters of the franchise to this day. Then the fade, and we are presented with a very highly pseudo-realistic render, which I can only imagine as being the Unreal Engine 5, of Kazuya animated with that same crooked asshole smile that has become his hallmark, with simply the words, "Get ready." Now, of course, the internet went nuts, with a lot of wild speculation, many taking a somewhat, I think, simple view about this, waxing lyrical on the possibility of a Tekken 1 remake, I assume due to the video, but honestly that's ridiculous because 1, remaking that game would be utterly pointless, and 2, because the Kazuya shown in the render is obviously post Tekken 2, where he first acquired the trademark scars and prominent red eye after being dropped off the ledge of a volcano. Some other people point out that he was looking grey and older. I also think this is inaccurate, as it seems like a demonstration of the advanced lighting of Unreal Engine 5, which did not translate so well in the lower resolution of the stream, as the shot is clearly lit from behind, shining on the back of his head and reflecting through the character's hair and eyebrows. After the events of Tekken 7, I can only imagine a potential Tekken 8 will happen immediately after that story in the timeline. Namco also mentioned in the past that they may be unlikely to do big time jumps again in the future. It didn't really work very well for Tekken 4, with many of the characters returning to their previous designs post Tekken 4. The game was simply not very well received, and Namco took a safer approach for Tekken 5. So what is this? Is it really Tekken 8? It seems like the obvious choice, and the one everyone's clamoring for, so it's probably the safe bet. Also, some are quick to point out the leaked release list from Nvidia's GeForce Now service, which mentioned Tekken 8 would be released at the end of 2023. However, Nvidia themselves have come out and said that that list was an internal database testing thing for GeForce Now, and that many of the titles were simply made up. But next year is the year of Street Fighter. Could Namco be gearing up to complete work on the stalled Tekken Cross Street Fighter game that got put on hold after the failed Tekken Tag Tournament 2? They already must have made a lot of assets, as it was said it would be around the ballpark of about 30% complete when they stalled. This could be a smart way to capitalize on Street Fighter's hype and momentum next year. However, some have rightly pointed out that Fakunam suspiciously looks like potential Sagat assets, and maybe even Katarina was a rework of a Chun-Li model. Personally, I think the safe bet is that the expected canonical Tekken 8, but I would be surprised if we saw a release of it next year. Although late 2023 may be possible, I am leaning to probably a third quarter, fourth quarter 2024 release date for the title. What do you guys think? The balance update for Tekken 7 was all I was really calling for, and we have that, although further refinement of Namco's strange hybrid rollback input delay type netcode system would have been nice. It's feeling quite bad now after playing the likes of Guilty Gear Strive with its authentic rollback system. It honestly feels fantastic, and I hope at some point Namco reconsiders their stance on this and at least tries it despite their concerns about extreme rollback in 3D space. Think I'm right? Think I'm full of shit? Whatever you think, I'd like to know about it. Feel free to leave a comment, like, hate, hell, do whatever you want, man. Also, death fist that subscribe button if you'd like to hear more rants from me, because from this point on there's probably going to be a lot more on this channel. And until next time, Necropants signing off.